Bruce Hooley. He is the morning host on 105.7 The Zone, the Fox affiliate in Columbus, the show that precedes this show. And Bruce is as plugged in on Ohio State football as anybody is in that market. And Bruce joins us now. Describe the reaction in Columbus to this news today, Bruce.
Well, I think it's disbelief, and there are a lot of people looking for reasons to exonerate Urban Meyer. A lot of people, claiming that the alleged victim in this case is not telling the truth, and it really obscures somewhat. The only thing that matters is on one hand, did Urban Meyer violate his contract by not reporting what he had reasonable belief to be abuse by one of his staff members? And then number two, the public perception problem, Dan, that comes with the possibility that he wasn't truthful last week when he commented on this in Chicago at the Big Ten kickoff luncheon.
All right, so what happens now with practice opening up on Friday? You got the coach on paid administrative leave. What happens next?
Well, I think two things happen. Number one, Ohio State, if they have not already made up their mind to part with Urban Meyer and they're not just taking a pause to negotiate a settlement, they have to do an independent investigation that would involve some firm that specializes in looking at text messages, emails, and everything else to determine whether Urban Meyer did or didn't know about this abuse. Number two, the sharks are circling media-wise. You got every entity from around the country coming in here now filing freedom of information requests. They're looking for the same thing. And that's really what I think Ohio State's afraid of, is the additional reporting, because it was death by 1,000 paper cuts during the Jim Tressel thing, where they stood by the coach on a day-to-day basis, never put him on leave. And every day there was a new headline, and it made Ohio State look worse virtually every single day.
How much do you think Ohio State, the athletic department, learned from Jim Tressel's situation that helps them in this situation with Urban Meyer?
Well, clearly they learned something, because they put Urban on administrative leave yesterday, which was the right move for them and the right move for him, too. You shouldn't expect a guy who has to exonerate himself to be balancing coaching a team and devoting himself to proving that he should still be your football coach. They didn't learn anything from a crisis management perspective, though, I can tell you that, because last week when Urban Meyer went to Chicago, he had 36 hours notice he was going to have to react to a Brett McMurphy report about an incident in 2015 involving a fired assistant coach, Zach Smith, and possible domestic violence. And no other media entity could get its hands on that police report. The Powell Police Department said the report didn't exist. Well, if Brett McMurphy had that report, he clearly got it from the victim's attorney. He's not going to get it from the alleged abuser's attorney, because it makes the alleged abuser look bad. Yep. And yet Urban Meyer, with every reasonable expectation to know that Brett McMurphy had cultivated, like all good reporters do, a relationship with a source, Urban went up there and he went all in on that incident. Never happened. I didn't know anything about it. Nobody told me anything about it. And there was a way for him to get up there and talk about that incident and insulate himself. But he clearly didn't do that, and that's why he's in a jackpot now.
What if he's telling the truth?
Well, if he's telling the truth, he's going to still be the coach. And I think they'd love for him to still be the coach. But for him to be telling the truth, I believe that the text messages – go ahead.
But, Bruce, how do you prove that somebody did or didn't know something? And how is he going to prove that, hey, I didn't know what was going on here? Maybe his wife knew, but did she tell him?
Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. For him to plausibly portray himself as being unaware of this, he's going to have to say, yeah, my wife knew about it, because there are text messages that would certainly suggest that she did know, but she never told me. And, yeah, my director of football operations guy's wife knew, and he's, by the way, been with me at Bowling Green, Utah, Gainesville, and Columbus, but she didn't think it was important enough to tell her husband, whose job is to take all the busy work off my plate. That's what, I think is a hard case to make, that a football coach who, as you know, Dan, every football coach, every great one, is a control freak, would be as out of the loop on something like this as Urban Meyer will have to be able to convince people he was, if he wants to stick to his story that he didn't know anything about it.
Final 5 seconds. Is Urban Meyer the coach of this team opening game?
No, he will not be the coach of the team opening game. Beyond that, I don't know.
Thank you, Bruce. We appreciate your time. He's Bruce Hooley, morning host of 105.7 The Zone, the Fox affiliate in Columbus, Ohio.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.